Here's the old radiator out of the car. It is original size. It's actually for the 6-cylinder that used to be in the car. I ran it with the V8, and it had problems on really hot days. Nothing fancy. It's a 2-core, just standard radiator. Obviously, this is not going to work for the LS. So here is what I'm going to use. That's a Griffin 3-core. I bought it as big as I could so that it would fit into the space where the radiator is. It is a universal fit, so there's no mounts or anything like that, so I gotta kind of figure out how to mount it. And then I will run an electric fan on it here, which will be controlled by the computer. So how this was mounted into the car, on the bottom there were 2 brackets like this, so it's a metal bracket with a rubber insert, and those would go on the bottom and go right on the edge of the tank like that. So it'd be one here and then one here, and then on the top I have this piece here, which is, believe it or not, this is kind of like the fan shroud. So on the top, again, rubber inserts here, and there was one here also. So one insert here, one here, and then that would go on the top of the tank, go on the top like that to hold the radiator in place. So I want to try to use the same items. I'm going to have to modify them a little bit. Given how wide the Griffin is, trying to use my regular mounts, they're just not gonna fit on there. So I'm going to try to modify these, and then the same thing goes for the fan shroud type of thing that goes on the top. If I take the rubber piece out, there's the edges of this thing are bent in, and that's what's hitting the tank on the Griffin, and I bent those things out. You see here, it fits over the edge of the tank. There's a lot of play there, but I don't obviously have any rubber pad. What I did is I went to Home Depot and I picked up a this is a plumbing piece for going from PVC to like cast iron pipe. It's some pretty nice thick rubber. So what I did was I'm just using a utility knife, and I cut a piece out of here and then put this piece into here, into my new mount. Okay, like this. And you can see in the corners there, I just cut the rubber a little bit so that it would bend, and then see if that will fit over the edge of the tank. Putting on the radiator, it fits really nice. It fits nice and tight. So that will take care of the bottom. I tried to pull the same trick on the fan shroud piece that'll go on top of the radiator. Basically had to get just a thinner piece of rubber and cut it up, and then put that in here. Here's the top piece on the radiator. It's hard to see, but the rubber's underneath right here, and it fits real nice. I'm going to mount the fan to the radiator before I put it in the car. So this is basically the back side of the fan, or the radiator side of the fan. It's got these little foam pads on the corners. Basically, I'm going to get centered here on the radiator, and how this thing mounts is with these almost like zip tie things. They'll go through these holes here and go through the radiator, and then there's another one that goes on the back, a head thing that goes on the back side, and then you trim them off. They say what you have to do is get it lined up, and then take a screwdriver or something and go through the cooling fins to make holes for these things, which is a little scary on a brand new Griffin radiator. As the instructions say, I'm going to take a screwdriver, go down in between these fins, make a hole for that plastic thing. It's a rubber spacer. Put in there, and put this tie down through there. And then this guy here snaps on the other side. Kind of like a zip tie. It's a one-time deal. Ratchets up. Tightened all those connector things up, and now I'm just going to trim them off. That's it with the fan on. I'm going to put those bottom brackets in here. So I set the rubber pieces in here. After some test fitting, it was apparent that just this rubber piece was not going to be enough underneath here. So what I'm going to do is use this rubber piece, and then I cut another piece of that thicker one that I used on the bottom. And I'm going to put that in here also, and that should be enough to take up the gap to hold the radiator in tight. That was the problem, is just plain wasn't holding it in tight, holding it down tight. So that'll hold it down nice and tight. That came out really nice. It looks stock. Being able to use that stock top piece, that shroud-like thing, and it came out really nice. Super happy. The computer can't handle the high loads of the electric fan, so basically the computer is used to trigger a relay, and then the fan is wired direct into the battery. I bought a relay kit from Jegs, and it comes with the relay, relay housing and the wiring, and then a circuit breaker, which I'm going to replace with a fuse mount so that it's replaceable. This is just a one-time deal. This is the mount for the relay. I'm going to put it, that's the battery box, I'm going to mount it back in here, kind of behind the battery box so it's hidden. And then run the wires to the fan and the wires to the battery. Mounted the relay mount. This is for the positive battery cable with the fuse on it. That will go together with all of these two. That'll go to the positive battery cable. The gray is a ground. Since I'm right here by the battery, I'm just going to put it onto the negative on the battery. The yellow is the actual trip wire. And this red wire here, coming from the computer, is what trips the relay to turn the fan on and off. So I will put a connection in for those two. And then the purple is what actually goes to the fan. So I'll wind that down around here and connect it up to that blue wire down there. I have all the main connections done. Going direct to the fan is this corrugated wire, and it comes down under the battery box, out front of the radiator, and then back inside, and that's what the fan will plug into, the blue and the black wire there. So I'll plug those in and then tuck that back in under the radiator. All of these here go to the negative battery cable. All these here go to the positive battery cable, and then this is my trigger wire. And it looks like a little bit of a mess, but it all should work out fine. Looks nice and clean from engine side, and then if you can see from the back with that side post battery, that's where all my extra positive stuff goes, and all the extra negative stuff, then the negative battery cable, positive battery cable, all looks pretty good.